Hello duckies, and welcome back to another Sims 4 build video. Today we're making a sunflower farm because there are some epically cute sunflowers available in base game, and I always seem to end up putting them in my builds, and I had this idea that there are a lot of sunflower farms around my area and I just needed to make one in The Sims, so I did, and here we are. Also, is it just me, or does watching somebody use the terrain paint, isn't it just like so satisfying to watch? This was where I figured out that I was gonna have to, I ended up having to put sunflowers in by the grid because they're super small, so for it to look right, I had to do that. And then I ended up putting those hedges in to make it look really thick, because if you see a sunflower farm in real life, they're growing on top of each other practically. It's very, very, very tight growth. So yeah, I did that with them to do that to recreate that tight growth. So here I was trying to get some flat area up by the porch for the house, because that's one of the best ways to have landscaping there. So that's what I did there. I wanted to make this kind of a weird house, so it's got a double balcony with a different sort of shape, but then weirdly enough the back is pretty normal. I like how it turned out. I really like having balconies in my houses. I tend to build them quite often, but in this case, I wanted it to be slightly different, because what I tend to do is have the balcony coming off the building, and in this one I wanted to build it kind of pushing into the actual building. So that's what I did. And I think it turned out pretty good. I also I cluttered this build a little bit less, because I realized that as much as clutter is fun, clutter is very, very resource heavy. So I was thinking, because of all the sunflowers, I cluttered it just a little bit less. I also tried to use a kind of different color palette. So I've got that cream color and then the green. I think it made it look pretty cool. I like how this house turned out. It's a family home. I imagined it for 2 kids and parents, and it's only 2 bedrooms, but there's a study in the downstairs that you could make into a 3rd bedroom if you needed to, but yeah. So I'm putting in some windows here. These are the windows, the craftsman style windows from Seasons, yeah, and then just some landscaping. I love those unkempt shrubberies. They look really cool in builds where you want it to look like somebody planted the hedge, but not so much that but you don't really want it to look like they have a paid gardener on staff that comes and takes care of the hedges, where it has sort of a wild look, but not so wild that it's not all natural foresty look. I like it. I like that. It's been trimmed, but it's been a while. That's what I mean. And I was putting in that base game bush to cover the hill somewhat, and with my new holding down shift trick, which I am totally in love with at the moment, and putting some trees in. I really like how the landscape turned out on this, because whenever I do a farm, I like to try to make it sort of graded so that the top part is on a hill and then it slopes down to the front, because that way you can see everything better. And that always helps when you can actually see what you're trying to look at. I made that little archway for the entrance area, and then I think I messed with the fences a little bit, and I realized it was cutting into the ground, and I really didn't want it to do that. So then I just put the fence around the outside to make it look really, I don't know, like a farm. It is a sunflower farm. Now here what I'm doing is I'm pushing back some of the sunflowers that are in perfect rows, so that it looks more just like some vegetation's coming through the fence, because you know, you don't it if it's all straight, then it's gonna look weird. So here we're starting on the kitchen, I believe. Yeah. And I love these floors. These floors are from Jungle Adventure. It's the rustic slats. I use them a lot. I actually have to remind myself sometimes not to use them because I think they're my favorite. I use them in all the different colors. I think there's like a bluish swatch and then like a more red swatch. They have all, it's really is my favorite. So, and then the stove and the fridge were from Parenthood. I wanted this to be a family home, but also be sort of have a feeling that it was maybe handed down from a previous generation to the current family living here. So they have like their like more like a more modern sensibility in terms of their furniture and whatnot, but there's still like touches of previous generations. So like there's like an old-fashioned wallpaper in the upstairs bedrooms, because I figured like if you're a family that's getting by, like you might not make the wall coverings in the bedrooms as big of a deal as you might make like the living room furniture. So I kind of wanted to give it that feel that, you know, this is not the first family that's lived in this house. It's been around for a while. It was built by hand by somebody in like the 19th century or something like that. So in the kitchen here, I just pulled out a bunch of decorations from the menu, and I was like, because I knew I wanted to like really clutter up this kitchen, because I always think that the more a family uses a kitchen, like the more there's going to be stuff in it. I also wanted to use a lot of white in this build to sort of reflect that more modern sensibility, but then have, you know, like the old-fashioned rustic floors to reflect that historical, I don't know, origin, there we go, of the house. This is one of my favorite kitchens that I've done in a long time. I don't know why particularly. I think because it just has a lot of personality, and like you can sort of see like the kids and the parents just hanging out, cooking together. One thing I'm super excited for with Cottage Living is kids can cook. That'll be awesome. So here we're working on the dining room, and for this room I wanted it to be rustic, and having a dedicated dining room isn't the most rustic thing ever. So I wanted it to have the feel like this is where, you know, grandma and grandpa's old stuff kind of has remained, where they haven't really redone this space because it's full of like old memories and like grandma's little collectibles and stuff, and just has that feel that this belonged to someone else in the past. Where it's got just that rustic feel to it. And here is the living area, or the living room, I should say. I was playing around with that new Dream Decorator sectional because I had not been able to get it to bend the way I wanted the last time I tried to use it. And I finally got it to work, and one thing that I tend to do is when I tend to build with move objects on like all the time. And when you do that, it doesn't tell the, I guess the AI, is that what it is? It doesn't tell the game that those need to stick. So as I was continuing with putting in these modular shelves and drawers and things, I did the same thing. I had to turn off the move object sheet, and then it came together pretty quickly. I really wanted to put a lot of clutter in this with like a lot of plants, because I mean, it's a sunflower farm, so you'd imagine that they enjoy plants and that they might have some inside the house. And I always think that like living areas look better with plants. They kind of add unexpected color, and especially since this particular build, I used a lot of white and like light woods, I really wanted to add a little pops of color, like with the sunflowers or like the pink little flowers from the country kitchen pack under the TV there. And like, you know, tea cans, I imagine like, you know, they had emptied the tea out and those have toys in them or some kind or another, or, you know, like dice or things for games, family stuff. Because families can never have too many containers. That's funny, because then I put the sheet back on so that I could clutter it up a little bit more, because I was having trouble getting some items that I really wanted to be in here to stick. Mostly like the tissue boxes and the homework, because of course there's got to be homework. And then I'm putting in some remote controls here. That white one is from the Journey to Batu pack, and it's funny because that's probably my most used item from Batu is that remote control. I'm putting the play tent in this build. I think I used it in the last build too, but I really wanted to make this feel like a space that the kids could like pull out their toys and have fun alongside the adults in the house, and just make it look like a very lived in family space. It's funny, so as I'm putting this chair down, I think I put some crafts above it. There is a bathroom behind that wall that I totally forgot about. So yeah, there. See, I moved it, and here we are. So yeah, moved it, and then I had to play test it to make sure it worked. So yeah, there we are. Alright, so this is the mud room, and I've got that shelf from Eco Lifestyle that has all the plant stuff on it, because I imagine, you know, you'd want to just run in and grab whatever you need from that shelf there. And then the other shelf is from Seasons. I love this rug. It's from My First Pet Stuff. I use it all the time, and because it has so many swatches that are just like really good swatches that make a lot of sense, so I use it a lot. It's one of my most used rugs probably, because like once you get past sort of the kitty ones, there's some really cool ones that are like cowhide looking or that kind of thing, and I just think it looks cool. So here I used a tiny desk so that I could put the computer on an angle. If you do that, just make sure that you play test it, because you have to get it just right for it to work. I think I had to play test it a couple times. I cut most of those out. So here I'm just cluttering up the desk a little bit. I love those legal files. I think they came with Discovery University. Yeah, I think so. And then just those little sectional pieces from Dream Home Decorator. And this is the kids' bathroom. So I made it so that each of the upstairs bedrooms has its own bathroom. So this is the kids' bathroom. And then I think we are going to go into the kids' room next. So yeah, so this is the kids' bedroom. So there's that wallpaper I was talking about, because I really wanted this to have a feel of a house that's been inherited and that used to be, you know, grandma and grandpa's, and now is ours. I wanted to talk about the cheat I just used. It's not actually a cheat. It's part of Twisted Mexie's Better Build Buy mod, where you can shift click the lights and it comes up with the dimmer and stuff that you used to have to go into live mode to use, which was always a pain. And I love it, because I really like my lighting to be very specific to the room and like the feeling that I want it to have. So being able to change the lighting without it being just you gotta hope that it works. That's the other thing I noticed in using that in the build and buy mode. It always works. Like, I have a heck of a time getting it to work in live mode. I don't know if it's because I have a lot of mods or what, but it works really well in build mode with Twisted Mexie's mod. So I would highly recommend getting that organized debug mod and the tool mod. I'm not sure which one it's a part of, but I know it's a Twisted Mexie mod, so I highly recommend. So here is the bedroom and the mom and dad's bed. I love that bed. I think, what is that bed from? With the chunky knit blanket. I don't remember. I love it though. That's what matters. I probably, that's another item I might use too much, is that bed. I really, really like it. I like the feel that it gives and like the little curtains that it has. Oh, it's so cute. Especially for this build with the white linens and then the light wood. So here's the little balcony outside, and I put it off to the side, which is new for me. I usually put those right in the front. So we're working on I think this is the parents' bathroom, and it's just got that that same modern look to it. All right, we're getting toward the end. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.